This is Pam, Rose City Stitcher, coming to you with another video. I wanted to show you what I did for the last half of June and let you know my plans for July. I don't have a whole lot to show you, so I think at the end I'm going to do a couple tags. I was thinking of doing the stitching style tag and the Adele's for Reals tag. So I'll go ahead and get started. First off, I'm going to show you my finishes. I have two finishes for this time. My first finish is a Mill Hill kit, and it is the Evergreen Snowman. I was surprised that I finished this. This wasn't in my plans to finish, but once I pulled it out, I didn't want to stop, so I went ahead and got him finished. So he turned out so cute. So I finished him, and I finished my White Cat by Bend Creek. So I added, it called for little buttons for the middle of the flowers. Couldn't find the buttons that they called for, so I just got some at Hancock Fabrics, which was closing, so I was able to get those really reasonable. So there's my cat. So those are my two finishes. That's why I don't have a whole lot to show you, because I kind of was working on getting those finished. The other things that I worked on a whole bunch on my sunflower snowman. I decided I wanted to work on him, and I worked on him for a total of, let's see, like 5 days that I worked on him. I kind of did my own stitch-a-thon on Sunday, and I got a lot of it done then. So there is my progress. Like I said, when I started it, all I had done was like a little bit of just the sunflower and some of the hat. So I finished all of that bird on the top and the bird on the bottom and some of the snowman's the face there. So I got a whole lot done on that. I worked on this a whole bunch and really hated to put him up, but I do have some others I'd like to work on. So I'm going to put him away for now. But really, really happy with my progress on him. And then I worked on my, for Wine and Whips, I worked on the mason jar lineup. So I spent a whole week on this. And made some really good progress on this one too. Kind of made the progress I wanted to. So there's where it is. So when I had stopped, I had done these first two bottles. So I did this whole bottle here, and I did some back stitching. I don't know if you can tell. I think you can kind of tell the difference between the bottle that has been back stitched in the middle and the other bottles. So I decided I'm going to try to do some back stitching as I go on this, because it does have a lot of back stitching, and I don't like back stitching a whole lot. So worked on that and made good progress on this one. I'm going to leave that one out because I'll be talking about that one again in a little bit. And then I did get my June cottage and got started on it. I wasn't able to finish it because I didn't get it till late this week. But if you remember, last time I bought the wrong cottage, so I had to wait for that one to come. So I've been working on this one for 3 days. Not a whole lot, but I got that much done. So hoping to get this one done pretty quick. They go pretty fast. And then last night I just decided I wanted to work on a Heaven and Earth design for a little bit, and so I pulled out my Walk Through the Highlands. This one I had started for the Outlander Stitch Along with Stitch Mania. So I didn't get very far, but I did a little bit. Oops. So you can see I did the kind of that darker blue on it. And this is on 18 count oatmeal. So And the June cottage is on 28 count tea-dyed even weave that I bought at Hobby Lobby. I apologize. In my last video, I didn't tell you anything of what I had, fabric I had used. But like I said, I don't use a whole lot of fancy fabrics right now. I do some, but I'm just getting into that. Okay, so those were my WIPS. Like I said, that's all that I worked on, but just spent a whole lot of time on those few. Like I said last time, I really wasn't liking the rotation, and I kind of scrapped the rotation completely and just decided to kind of just work on what I wanted to. So I'm going to kind of work on whatever's for Stitch Mania, and then I'm just going to kind of pick a focus for finish or focus for lots of progress, and I'm just going to work on those and spend as much time as I want to, and then switch to something else. I enjoyed my stitching a whole lot more when I did it that way, because when I did the rotation, for one thing, it's like I just feel like I got very much done in a day, and when I worked on it 3 or 4 days, I could see significant progress and kind of get a little bit more of a groove going with it. So I'm going to do that whenever I work. I'm going to probably spend 3 or 4 days on where I can make significant progress for me on it. So that's kind of my plan for now. It may change, but for now that's kind of what I'm doing. So July plans, I'm going to be doing Stitch Mania's, it's a sunshine day. So I'll be working on 4 different projects. I'll spend a week on each project. I'm going to be, the first week, I'm going to do my poppies. That was a good one for Sunshine Day. Work on this one. I haven't worked on this one since April. So I'm going to do this. I'll show you where I am for now. Like I said, I didn't get a whole lot done, but I had gotten that. And this is on a 28 count. I think it's just an off-white 28 count even weave. So I'm looking forward to making some progress on that one. And then I'm going to work on my July cottage, because it doesn't have sunshine, but July is a summer month, so I'm going to go ahead and count this. So I'll start the July cottage. Hopefully by, I'll be done with the June one, so I'll be ready to start this one. And maybe these are going to fall. I'm going to work on my Debbie Mum spring banner. No, it's spring, not summer, but to make me the little daisies kind of look like little suns, so I'm going to use this one. And this is where I am on this. This is just a kit. So, and this one, I'm hoping if I spend a whole week on it, that, I might be able to get it finished, because it's not really that big. So we'll see. But I'm hoping to maybe finish it if I can spend a lot of time. And then the last week, I'm going to go back to my Mason jar lineup, because that definitely to me says summer with all the flowers. So this one will be getting some more time even. So I'll be working on this one. So this one, a goal was to have this one finished for the year, at the end of this year. So that's why I am putting a lot of work into this one, so I can hopefully get it finished. So those are my plans. And also, I was going to show you I do want to get back to my Frosted Pumpkin Passport. Of course, the new one is supposed to come out today, July, and I pulled it out to see where I was on it, and I wasn't even as far as I thought. So that's as far as I've gotten on it. So I have finished up April, May, June, and now July is coming. So I decided I really would kind of like to get this done. So I might spend some time on this also and try to get this caught up, because once I pulled it out, I was like, well, it is kind of cute. So that's my plan, to maybe get back to that. And this is on a 28 count even weave in, I can't remember what it's called, ale, I think, maybe. So that's my progress on that. And I have switched out the the floss. I'm using a lot of the Moselle floss on it, where I have different colors I can use. So that is my plan, and my other two ideas I have. I pulled back out my Raven Queen, Mirabilia. I don't know if you remember in one of my early videos, I had mentioned that I felt like I had gotten off and I got very frustrated with it, and I decided I was just going to scrap it and start over. There's where I was. I decided now that I'm more experienced with the even weave, I feel like maybe I can find my mistake, or I can kind of fix it to make it work and see, so I can continue, because I really do like this fabric. I think it's really looking nice on this fabric, so wish me luck that I can kind of figure out. I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down and see if I can kind of find the mistake in it, and if, see if I can either make it work or find the mistake and be able to fix it easily. So that's my plan. I've decided I might try to do that. So I'm trying to do all these things right now before school starts again, because once school starts, I don't have as much time. So I thought this would be a good time to be able to sit down and see if I can figure this out and fix that and get that going again. And the other one that I thought was all messed up and had stopped working on was my Tilton Crafts up on the rooftop. Really, really loved this pattern. And like I said, I thought something had gone wrong with it, but I was wrong. Nothing had gone wrong with it. It was just really tiny, and I think I wasn't sure that I liked it. It was on 28 count, white, 1/1. And at the time I was doing this, it just looked so little, and I was just like, I just don't know that I like this. But now that I've seen what other people do, other people are doing 28 count 1/1, and it's looking okay. So I may pull this one out and kind of start on this. This one hasn't been worked on in a long time, so I may go ahead and pick that up and start on it again. I've only done that's about 200 stitches actually. So excuse my nails. I need to replace my nail polish. That's awful. So those are my plans. And let me get up. A little bit of haul fell on the floor, so hang on just a second. Sorry about that. My haul fell. I didn't really get it. This is all I bought for my haul. Is these new needle minders from No Name Needle Minders. They're known as Kate, Queen of Starts. Thank you so much. I got Pocahontas, Mulan, Princess and the Frog, and the last one says, oops, upside down. Anytime is wine time. So thank you so much, Kate, for those. I love those. Okay, so that's about all that I've got to show you as far as what I've worked on. So I've got the tags here. Let me just double check my notes, see if there's anything else I wanted to say. Oh, that's right. Christmas in July, or winter holidays in July. On July 25th, there's we're going to stitch something winter. I was going to work on either my candy cane Santa for that, and Back in Black on July 24th. Stitch Mania does, like a color a month for a day. I'm going to do either my Gourmet ABC, because all of the outline is all black, or my Dark Shadows, because of course this has a lot of black in it also. So those were my plans also. Those are just for a day. Okay, so let me go ahead and do the two tags that I wanted to show you, or to do for you. The first one is Stitching Style Tag. I don't remember who did this one, but I came across it and I thought it was kind of a good tag. So I'll do that one. I said, excuse me looking down, but my questions are down here. Number one is favorite fabric. Right now my favorite fabric is even weave. I haven't tried linen yet. I'm just still a little scared to use the linen, but I am liking the even weave, so I use that. Number 2, hoop or frame. I use a hoop, sometimes Q-snaps, but mostly hoops. I've got all kinds of sizes and I like to use those. Number 3, do you use a stand or you just hold your frame? Of course, I use a hoop, so I'm just holding it. Number 4, what is your favorite time to stitch? I usually stitch in the evening after I've run all my errands and eaten dinner and taken care of everything. Then I usually will sit down and stitch. Number 5, do you use a printed paper copy of your chart or digital? I do paper. I'm still not sure how to use the computer to do the marking off, so I'm not doing that yet. Number 6, are you a floss licker? Yes, I am. Number 7, do you hoard or buy supplies as needed? A little bit of both. As far as floss and fabric, I buy that as needed, but patterns, I hoard. I'm very easily enabled to buy patterns. Number 8, what is your favorite floss? I still use a lot of DMC. I do like Moe's sale floss, his variegated floss. I really like the colors that he has, so I try to use those as often as I can. Number 9, are you a serial starter or do you have a WIP at a time? Well, like I said, a little bit of both. I do like to do new starts, but I've gotten where I kind of just want to work on one thing at a time to make some good progress. Number 10, do you have more FFOs or UFOs? Definitely UFOs. Number 11, do you watch TV while stitching? Yes, I do. I usually am watching Flosstube or I watch something on Netflix. Do you mostly stitch alone or do you ever get together with someone to stitch? I would love to get together with someone to stitch, but there is nobody around here that stitches, so I do it by myself. Number 13, do you like to experiment and alter things with your charts or do you stitch them just as written? Right now I'm still doing it just as written. The only one I've changed has been the pumpkin passport, but everything else I usually just do as is. Number 14, do you bobbinate floss or not? Yes, I do bobbinate my floss. I have one of those huge double-sided floss boxes, and I keep everything in there except for the specialty threads, the Moe's Sale, Gentle Arts. Those I don't bobbinate. Those I have in the photo boxes with an index card telling me what the name and brand is. Let's see, do you start a project in the middle of your fabric or at the corner? I start in the middle, except for the Hades. The Heaven and Earth designs, I do start up in the corner, but everything else, I start in the middle. Do you have a WIP rotation? I kind of already answered that, yes and no. Not kind of a no right now. Number 17, do you use a timekeeper to keep track of how long it takes you to complete a project? I tried doing that, but that just didn't really work out for me very well. I get interrupted a lot, and then I'd forget to turn the timer off and pause it. I forget to stop it when I finished, so I decided not to do that anymore. I just do how many days. I use Tony Walker's tracker, and I just use that instead. And that tells me how many days. That's as much as I do. Number 18, do you use the parking technique? I do use the parking technique on the Hades. That's the only thing that I've really found it that useful for. 19, do you keep your orts? No, I don't. I usually just stick them on the edge of the table and gather them all up at the end of the day and throw them away. Number 20, do you like to have a snack or drink while stitching? Well, I don't like to eat because I don't want to get my fabric dirty, but I always do have something to drink beside me. So that's the stitching style tag. Next one is the For Realz tag by Adele. Hi, Adele. So this one's got 10 questions, so I'm not going to say the For Realz for each one. So number 1, though, For Realz, though, what level of stitcher do you consider yourself to be? I consider myself an intermediate stitcher. I am using, different types of floss and different fabrics. I'm you know, done a Mirabilia, working on some Joan Elliott's Heaven and Earth design. So I think I'm kind of a intermediate stitcher right now. Number 2, how many WIPs and UFOs do you honestly have? This includes things you gave up on and threw out. Okay, so I did go through here and look this up. I actually have 42 active WIPs. 42 active, those are ones that are actually on my Xstitch app. So those are ones that I've started, you know, in the last 2 years when I really got heavy back into stitching. But then I also have about 50 UFOs. Those are ones that I had started like 5 years ago and had put away, because that's kind of what happened. I'd been stitching, and then about 5 years ago I completely stopped stitching. I sold a lot of my stuff off, decided I just wasn't going to do it anymore. I had lost my grandmother and my mother, and they were the two that were the ones that really enjoyed seeing it, so I was like, why bother? So I put it all away. But I did keep the UFOs, not sure why, but I did. So I have those. And I'm hoping I may go back to those eventually. A lot of them are Paula Vaughn's. A good deal of them are Paula Vaughn's. So, and you know that those are pretty time consuming with all the back stitching involved. And I do have a lot of them that's all that needs to be done is back stitching on them. A lot of projects, if I would just sit down and take a day, I could probably knock out about 5 of them that all that's needed is a little bit of back stitching. So one of these days I will maybe do that. Okay, so number 3, are you enabled easily? Yes, very much so. Especially for patterns. I see a pattern on Flosstube, I was like, oh, I have to have that. And so my wish lists are huge on 1-2-3 Stitch and Heaven and Earth Designs. So, yes. Number 4, do you suffer from SADD, Stitcher's Attention Deficit Disorder? I do. I do somewhat. It's like I will be stitching on something and think, oh, I should do that, or like I decide I need a new start. So I do have a tendency to do that. Number 5, have you ever finished a full coverage project? No, I haven't. If your answer was no, how far have you got? The farthest I've gotten has been my mini shaman, Heaven and Earth design, this one here, and that one's, I believe, 2 pages, maybe 3. I can't remember, either 2 or 3 pages on that one. So, number 6, do you enjoy confetti? Not really. I do like how it turns out at the end, so I like the end result, but actually doing it, not so much. Number 7, how many finishes do you have this year so far, and how does this compare to your WIP UFO number from question 2? I have 10 finishes, and I am happy with that. Like I said, I have 42 that are really active, and I finished 10, so that's not too awful. I would like the number to be higher, but I'm satisfied with that. Number 8, are you bothered by your answer in the last question? Would you rather have a smaller or larger number? I would like to have less active WIPs. I really would. 42 is a little too many for me. I would like it to be down to under 30. I think that would be a much more manageable number for me. So that's why I'm kind of working on trying to get finishes done and making lots of progress on them, and trying really hard not to do a new start, even though I really, really would like to start a few projects. And I probably will. I'll probably start something in July before I have to go back to school. I'll probably will do a new start or 2, just because it'll be harder when school starts. It's so busy the first few weeks of school, so I'll probably do a start. Number 9, do you have any perhaps embarrassing dirty little stitchy secrets? I don't really think I have any. Probably the only thing is I do travel my thread probably farther than I should sometimes, instead of cutting it off and restarting, but that's probably about it. Number 10, I dare you to show me your messiest back. Well, my messiest back would have to be my Heaven and Earth design. It's pretty bad. So, there it is. It's pretty awful. So, yeah. So I'm trying to get a little bit better with it. Now that I've learned, one of the things with the Heaven and Earth designs, I kind of did cross country. I didn't really realize that it was a lot better to do 10 by 10 blocks. And I got into the section here where her face is. And oh my gosh, I had just an awful time trying to figure out where I was and what needed to be filled in. I was using different colors of highlighters. And then after watching some of the videos about doing the 10 by 10 blocks and the parking, I started doing that. It went so much better. So it's like when this was one of my wine and whips, and I got so much farther in it doing it that way with the parking and doing the 10 by 10 blocks, and I knew where I was. I wasn't having to count so much and losing my place. So yeah, so that's wonderful. I think that'll help, but the rest of this probably won't have quite as messy a back with me doing it in the 10 by 10 blocks and not cross country all over the place like I was doing. So that's all I have for now. I'll do another video. I kind of plan to do, a video twice a month. Do one around the 1st and then do one mid-month to kind of show you my progress, unless there's really very little progress to show. So I want to thank everybody for subscribing and watching my video. I appreciate all of my subscribers and all my viewers. If you have any comments, I love everybody's nice comments. Leave any comments, questions below. And I guess I'll see you again around the middle of July. Thanks. Bye.